Alex Pereira has undeniably become a global superstar. Currently in Australia, he is assisting Sean Strickland in preparation for his UFC 312 rematch against Dricus Du Plessis, and will be cornering Sean for the fight. Earlier today, Alex shared footage of his arrival, where he was greeted by hundreds of fans chanting Shama. During the UFC 312 weigh-in show, Michael Bisping and Daniel Cormier had a debate regarding the role of wrestling in MMA. Bisping asserted that traditional wrestling on a mat does not effectively translate to mixed martial arts, a stance that DC, an Olympic wrestler who relied heavily on his wrestling throughout his UFC career, strongly opposed. As tensions escalated, Jon Jones stepped in and tried to redirect the conversation.
Wrestling in a mixed martial arts fight against the fence,
and that's what I was going to say. The fence,
nothing like actual wrestling on.
That's what I mean by a small part of wrestling.
It doesn't exist. Like Callum is a way better wrestler than me. I will pick him up and slam him on his and I've done it, and he's like, yeah, but that's that bull in a cage. But real wrestlers suck balls.
But here's the problem.
You bring any of those guys in a cage, unless they learn how to do it in a cage, I will head kick their head off. They suck, and that's why most of them can't do.
Look, all you gotta do. No, here's the thing. All you gotta
wrestlers
do. This is where people struggle with that. Don't wrestle double legs. All these guys know how to defend double legs. He can't defend a single leg.
Oh, I
That's
can.
what people. No, you can't.
You put me up against the fence, DC. You could not take me down with a single leg.
Guys,
even with my bad hips, my bad neck.
Hey guys, rapid fire is actually the name of this segment. No, I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. I love wrestling and wrestling maintenance conversations, but we got to spin it forward. So if
single leg, I could stop you, DC. Oh, I could stop you.
We've got enough space here.
No, you get a cage. Again, there's an octagon right there.
Take your picks. We're not going to do that right now.
Bad neck and all. So I'm telling you,
if Dricus Plessis,
So earlier this week, footage emerged of Kevin Lee being knocked down during a sparring session. Kevin was training with pro MMA fighter Mirali Huseynov when the incident occurred. As Kevin attempted a flying knee, Huseynov countered with an overhand right, sending Kevin face first onto the mat. Addressing the situation on Instagram, Kevin explained that he was not attempting to land that knee and asserted that up until that moment, he had been outperforming Huseynov. He suggested that Huseynov may have grown frustrated as a result. Kevin also stated that he is unsure who leaked the footage, but criticized the individual responsible, calling them a scumbag. Additionally, he reveals that he got word that the individual has since been banned from the gym.
All right, let me just address this once and leave it at that. A lot of people have been calling, and first of all, I'm fine. This is martial arts training. I've been training martial arts for 15 years. I can tell you how many times I've seen people get knocked out, submitted, arms broken, cut up. This is what we do. This is what happens into the gym. And whoever posted that video is a rat, a scumbag, a weasel, all of that. No honor, no respect. None of it. There's certain codes that go on in these gyms that you just don't break. Showing just a small clip like that for the world to see is one of them. And second, one of the hardest things to learn in martial arts is self-control. So anybody who's ever trained and knows what they're looking at can look at that clip and see I'm not trying to land a knee. I was deep into the session, and I don't think my partner was liking the way things was going. He was a little hyped up and pissed off, but I wasn't trying to land that knee. If you look at it, you can tell if I wanted to land a knee, I would have jumped into him. Instead, I jumped straight up and put the knee right in front of his face. And when I landed, he threw a shot and it's all good. I wasn't tripping. This happened a minute ago. You can ask anybody. I wasn't tripping on it. But what does piss me off is posting it without full context, without the full round in there, and just leaving people who don't know what the fuck looking at to make up their own stories. I got word that the kid has been banned from the gym, and I just want to say is not on the gym at all. Brought in some random guy from Russia that I didn't even know was filming on the sidelines, and that's what turned this into that. But anybody who's ever trained with me or watched me train knows my only goal in any training session is to make my training partner better. That's it. We professionals, and this is what we do to entertain the world and provide for our family. Hold that code to the utmost respect. I'm not changing the way that I train because of this. And I'm gonna try and maintain my integrity, even though it pisses me the fuck off. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Mirali Huseynov has also recently addressed this situation, expressing his disappointment over the leaked video. He clarified that Kevin is actually one of his favorite training partners and emphasized that he did not intentionally strike him with enough force to cause him to drop.
I don't supposed to share everywhere that video. I didn't want that situation. Just I want to try explain what's going on there. He's my favorite partner because we always work each other hard. The hard work always is paid when you fight. That's our point. That was not my point. Hit him hard. That's fly knee coming. What should I do? Should wait and check that's light or hard? What do you think, guys? He's my favorite partner. We always work hard, and after work I say him, brother, everything good. He hit me hard, I hit him hard. I just didn't want this situation happen, but can happen everyone. This even though this is part of that big part of our game, or training, or MMA, that's normal for athletes.
Dominick Cruz has officially withdrawn from his scheduled bout against Rob Font and announced his retirement from MMA. Cruz shared the news last night via X. He wrote to the fans worldwide, "I have poured every ounce of myself into this sport for the last 25 years. I was really hopeful for one final fight, but unfortunately, 2 shoulder dislocations in 8 months calls an end to this guy's career. I gave everything I had and put it into preparation and training for this fight, focusing on my cardio and my body for the past year. But sometimes the body just doesn't cooperate. The pain isn't as bad now that my shoulder is back in place, but the second dislocation was far more complicated than the first. This sport has been everything to me. It's helped shape who I am. Thank you to the UFC for building this platform and paving the way for fighters like myself and so many others. The UFC broke barriers to set this stage not just for us fighters, also for every MMA sports organization that followed them across the bridge, created throughout politics in order to allow our sport to take place legally in the United States and now the world. I am incredibly grateful to everyone who booked tickets, hotels, and flights to support me. Thank you all for being there through every moment, every victory, and every challenge. You've made this journey unforgettable. Thank you for the love and support. I will carry it with me always. With love, Dominick." Israel Adesanya is now analyzing his knockout loss to Nassourdine Imavov. Earlier today, he shared footage on his Instagram story of himself rewatching the fight, captioning it "back to work."
Smack in the center of the octagon right now. Cheeky trip attempt.
This is where Imavov's team said they wanted the fight. They wanted to get in.
Michael Bisping predicts that neither Dricus Du Plessis nor Sean Strickland will secure a finish in their rematch this weekend. While many fans and analysts believe that Strickland won their first fight, Bisping disagrees, asserting that Dricus was the rightful winner. However, he acknowledges that it was a close contest and admits the decision could have gone either way.
I don't think either man gets a finish.
No, I agree. I agree,
just
Michael.
So tough.
Yeah.
I just can't see Strickland finishing Dricus and vice versa. I'm the minority. I thought Dricus won the first one. I think when you go, it was a close fight. And in fact, Brian, just look up. Can you look up the amount of strikes landed by each guy in the first fight? Forward momentum for the most part was on the side of Dricus.
Yeah, well, for sure. The momentum and
the
forward
bigger,
pressure.
more damaging punches were on the side of Dricus. The takedowns were on the side of Dricus, and just the general pressure was on the. I'm not saying Sean didn't do a lot of good stuff. I'm not saying that. I thought he had some great moments. What I'm saying is Dricus had the big show-stealing moments when a round is close and a judge considers who do I give it to. When things are kind of even, they'll look at, all right, who was going forward, who was the aggressor, even though takedowns don't really matter that much now. Who got them? If if everyone lands 10 punches, but one guy lands a takedown, then you'll give it to the guy with the 10 punches and the takedown. Do you know what I'm saying? So I agreed with Dricus, but it was close. And that's why I'm not scratching my head when people have the other opinion. I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Henry Cejudo and Kamaru Usman share their thoughts on this weekend's middleweight title fight between Dricus Du Plessis and Sean Strickland. Cejudo remains adamant that Strickland doesn't deserve to be fighting for the title. On the Pound for Pound podcast, Henry says he thinks Dricus should have defended his belt against Khamzat Chimaev after Khamzat's impressive first-round submission victory over Robert Whittaker.
I personally don't feel like Sean Strickland really deserves that title shot. The only reason why is because, dude, what Khamzat was able to do to Robert, I was surprised that the UFC did that. I mean, think about it. You get DDP and a guy like Khamzat Chimaev, an American, versus both of these guys have mouthpieces on them. Like, this is either fight's going to sell, but it is what it is.
Kamaru Usman reflected on his 2017 victory over Sean Strickland, where he defeated him via unanimous decision, and offered advice to Dricus Du Plessis on how to counter Strickland's unique fighting style. Usman highlights the difficulty of landing clean headshots against Strickland due to his defensive style. Instead, he adjusted his approach by targeting Strickland's body, a strategy he believes could be effective for Dricus in their upcoming rematch.
I think Dricus does need to make a bit of an adjustment as well, because when I fought Sean Strickland, and this was something that the great Henry Hoof was we were able to see and break down, is don't try to hit his head. Don't swing for his head. And you saw that. If we run this clip back, you will see the exchanges where Dricus is trying to hit his head, and you just can't hit his head. Because when Sean is upright in his stance and he leans back, you just can't land a flush shot at his head. Because of that style, it's very, very difficult to hit him in the face. So what we did, we focused on his body. You know, I went to his body, but then obviously you mix it up and you go for the takedowns as well. And that makes it a lot easier to get to a guy like Sean Strickland.
Ray Longo shared his thoughts on the upcoming rematch between Dricus Du Plessis and Sean Strickland, predicting the fight will unfold similarly to their first encounter. Longo believes it will be a close contest, much like their initial bout, where Dricus won via split decision. However, Longo expressed the decision could have gone either way in that first fight, and remains uncertain about who will come out on top in the rematch.
Ray Longo, before we go, Dricus Du Plessis about a 2-1 favorite over Sean Strickland for the rematch. Who do you like?
Wow. I'm going to say I think it's going to be the exact same fight it was the first time. I don't know who the decision's going to go to. I think the decision could easily went to Strickland. But yeah, let's see. It's going to be I think it's definitely going to be a decision, and it's going to be a very close fight, as was the first one.
Dustin Poirier is aiming to compete one final time before retiring from MMA, currently coming off a 5th-round submission loss to the reigning lightweight champion Islam Makhachev. Dustin provided an update on his last fight during an interview with the Schmo yesterday. He went on to say, "I wish I could tell you more. I've actually been having calls every week with the UFC, but it's looking like summer in New Orleans is close to happening for my retirement fight. A pay-per-view in New Orleans this summer would be incredible. That's what I'm pushing for. That's what the UFC's working toward. And things are getting pretty close. Lay the gloves down where it all started in Louisiana. It would be an honor for me." During a Q&A for UFC 312, Daniel Cormier was asked whether he considers Jon Jones the greatest of all time in MMA. While DC acknowledged that Jon Jones is one of the greatest, he argued that multiple failed drug tests prevent him from holding the GOAT title outright. DC said, "You really can't deny his greatness, right? Look at what he has done. The guy has really fought through 3 generations of fighters. He fought that early generation with Lyoto Machida and them. He went through my generation, and now he's fighting a whole other generation of guys. So yeah, of course he's one of the greatest fighters of all time. But when you do dirty shit, you don't get to be called the greatest of all time." Dricus Du Plessis has directly addressed the claim that Alex Pereira hates him. During media interactions this week, Sean Strickland mentioned several times that Alex harbors animosity towards Dricus, though he was unsure why. Dricus, however, does not believe this to be the case.
I think Alex is an angry motherfucker. Like, Alex is angry, and for some reason, dude, he hates Dricus. Like, I don't know what you did to him, but he hates you, dude. So it's like, the way he looks at Dricus sometimes, I'm like, dude, like, I'm fighting him, dog. Like, it's me, dude. But yeah, no, Alex.
In an interview with Chael Sonnen, Dricus responded saying Pereira was also in the corner of Strickland in the last fight, and that doesn't make any difference to me, and the same applies to this one. I don't think he hates me. If he does, I don't know why. Sometimes you see a person and you just don't like them. Maybe that's it. Maybe he doesn't like my face or my attitude. I don't know, but I don't think he hates me. But if he does, I have no idea why. We've never even spoken. I asked him for a picture, I think, once. I consider Alex an incredible fighter, one of the greatest that's ever walked the planet Earth, one of the greatest combat athletes in history. But if he hates me, I don't care. I have enough friends already. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. These comments are in reference to Jon Jones' huge announcement, which was not the fight with Tom Aspinall. The first one says Jon is a huge advocate for healthcare reform. He sent his wife to the hospital multiple times and the bills were outrageous. The second one says I think all MMA fans are fed up with Jon Jones and Conor McGregor. And the final one says Jon Jones basically said, bad news first. I'm not announcing a fight. Good news is I saved myself 15% on car insurance by switching to Geico. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.